there, this is Dwarves and Dice, and I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3. This is the new D&D game that just released this week, and I'm really excited to play it. It features all your classes and races that you'd normally expect to see from D&D 5e, with the same ruling set in a beautiful game. Without further ado, let's get into it. There will be a slight cutscene, so I will quieten down and let you enjoy. That was your introduction to Baldur's Gate 3. Now it's time for Session 0 and character creation. So you can pick one of the origins from one of the game characters, or you can create your own. So I'm going to create my own. I think I should start with the class. So I was not feeling like a melee character for this. I was feeling much more like a ranged. I was stuck between Bard, Druid and Wizard. If you don't know what all the classes do, I will be releasing a video explaining all the classes in Baldur's Gate 3 and also in normal D&D 5e. In terms of why I want to pick a ranged class, I just feel like it will give me more opportunity to enjoy the game and to explore the different facets that the game has to offer. I know, for example, that druids, because they can speak to animals, they can unlock quite a lot of the game through a very different perspective than all the other characters. So I'm quite considering one of them. I was considering a wizard because they get access to the most spells. So I find wizards interesting because you can do a lot of combinations. For example, you can put grease on the floor and then light it on fire using a firebolt or a fireball. That will deal damage to any of the enemies in the grease and probably set them alight. If you were to do this with other people in your party, you've then got to use multiple people's worths of actions to be able to do this one thing. Whereas if I play the wizard, I would have a lot more access to this stuff on my main character. I didn't really feel like playing a sorcerer. I don't know why. And my other character that I started just for the introduction is a warlock. So I think I want to pick something other than them. Finally, the only other real ranged class is the ranger. But I felt more like a magical ranged rather than physical ranged. I think I'm going to pick druid. If I don't enjoy it, then I can always switch to a different class. Or there's always the opportunity of multi-classing in this game, which I'm sure has a lot of different combinations that would be quite interesting. After class, I'm going to pick my race. Now, I wanted to pick a race that has dark vision, as I don't really want to have to deal with seeing in the dark. So that does limit my race choice down a little bit. I also don't overly want to pick a race that has a low movement speed, so that takes out halflings and gnomes. So your race will give you your movement speed, it will also give you what weapons you're proficient in, it will give you whether you've got dark vision or not, and how far you can see, and normally it will give you one other thing. For example, for elf it's Fey Ancestry, so I have advantage against saving throws, against being charmed, or magic to put me to sleep. Alright, since this game seems to be about killing the Mind Flayers, I think it would be fitting to pick a Githyanki. With a ruthlessness born from Mind Flayer enslavement, Githyanki raid the astral sea atop red dragons, bringing their silver swords and psionic might to bear against any trace of the Illithid menace. This will give me astral knowledge, which I can then gain proficiency in all skills of his chosen ability. It will give me the cantrip of Githyanki Psionics, which gives me a mage hand. This can allow me to spawn a little hand that can interact with the world. It will allow me to move for 9 meters per turn, and give me Martial Prodigy, so a lifetime of relentless trainings, giving me armour proficiency with light and medium armours, as well as proficiency with short swords, long swords, and great swords. I know this doesn't give me the access to dark vision that I wanted, but I've since decided that it would be interesting to play around and see how other classes have to play around seeing in the dark. Next, I need to pick what my cantrips are going to be. So cantrips are spells you can cast for free without using a spell slot, but they still do cost an action or a bonus action depending on what they are. I think I will take Shillelagh and Thorn Whip. Thorn Whip allows me to pull an enemy closer to me and deal a little bit damage, and Shillelagh allows me to buff my weapon and allow it to do more damage, and instead of using my melee attack modifier to determine if I hit, it will instead be my spellcasting modifier. The other options, they all did sound quite interesting, especially Produce Flame. It would give me 9 meters of sight, but I would have to use an action, although it does say until long rest. Actually, I think I might take Produce Flame. I think I'll swap my Shillelagh out for Produce Flame. I'll keep Thorn Whip. Now, it's an interesting choice because most people I think would probably choose Shillelagh over Thorn Whip, but I don't think I'm going to use a staff or a club. Since I have the proficiency with great swords, I think I'm going to try and get a great sword and run that. It does kind of take me away from being ranged though. I decided to go against my original thought of playing a super ranged character. I think I might play a melee spellcaster. I've not tried a melee spellcaster before, so I hope it works. I hope it works with Druid. But yeah, I think I'm going to run a Greatsword, Produce Flame and Thorn Whip. Now we need to pick the background. So backgrounds will give you what your skill proficiencies are. Currently I already have Nature and Animal Handling. Don't know what would be useful. I think I shall assign my abilities first before I go back and choose what my background will be. So you get 27 ability points to spend, a +2 and a +1 bonus. It follows the normal point buy system that a lot of D&D 5e players use. I personally really like the system. So we need to max out Wisdom because it is our primary ability. It's what we mainly use for our spells and our attacks. So maxing that out with a +1. Actually maxing it out with a +2 will give me a little bit more room to move. Next, I want to have a high constitution and a high dexterity if possible, but I need to mainly have strength for that great sword. My character can dump intelligence This is a stat that we use. We don't put any points in it so that we can still have more points to spend elsewhere. I think having a good amount of charisma is always good. This game seems to have a lot of options in terms of talking people out of fights instead of having to always fight. So I think having a decent charisma is important, but we'll see later on if that is the case. So this is a relatively well-rounded character with a dump stat intelligence. I think I like where I'm at. So in terms of the background, I don't really need to worry about what I shall go. I could go things like Sage for the Arcana. This would assist so that if I have to do Arcana check, then I'll at least have a +2. As my dump stat is Intelligence, I'll have an automatic -1. So it could be an option. I'm going to have a look. Alright, so I think I've decided on Guild Artisan. This gives me the skill proficiencies of Insight and Persuasion at +5 and +4 overall. I think this is a good place to be. I think my character looks good. I don't need to change anything. Maybe actually I could change the voice. Normally I like to change the voice, so let's hear.
Where to next?
Let's hope the locals are friendly.
Be wary. This place is trapped.
I think I'll choose voice
More of
4.
those wretched things.
Is there anything we want to change? I really like the hair. Now we need to prepare some spells. Okay, so these are level 1 spells. I will have to use a level 1 spell slot to be able to cast these, unlike the cantrips from before. So the cantrips, they don't cost a spell slot, and these will cost a level 1 spell slot. So each day I think I can only get a couple of these spell slots, so I need to be careful what spells I take with me, because they will be very, very useful, very important. Alright. I don't think I want to take too many damage ones. I want to use more utility. I feel like the rest of my party can always do damage, whereas I can choose the utility I can take into this. Alright, so I have decided to pick Speak with Animals so I can gain the ability to comprehend and communicate with beasts. Healing Words, which allows me to heal between 4 and 7. Any creature that is within 18 meters that can hear me will be able to be healed. As a bonus action, compared to Cure Wounds, which I actually need to touch the creature, and as a full action, I decided that the utility of Healing Word was a little bit more useful. Ice Knife, I needed to have some offensive capability. It was between Ice Knife or Thunderwave. I decided that I would go Ice Knife just because I've never used it and it seems quite interesting. It also can cut off choke points, which I'm hoping to be able to use. And finally, Enhanced Leap. So I've not played the game that much, but I'm assuming that there are locations that are harder to get to if you cannot jump there. And if you are not strong enough or you don't have enough range, this might actually get us into places where we wouldn't be able to get to otherwise. The other options, they were all right, but none of them were interesting enough to make me want to take them. So that's us finally made the character. Let's get into it. The name Vina, and we can continue. Do not know what a guardian is. I'm assuming if I just chose another Githyanki, maybe randomise a few times. Oh, that randomises more than just Githyanki. Oh well. This is our guardian. I have to say, the animations in this game are beautiful. In fact, this game in general is just stunning. So I'm going to leave it there for today. Please check back for session 1 that will be coming out on the channel as soon as I can make it. Thank you very much for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye bye.